She Steps Forward Ministries works to empower women around the world to step forward in the workplace. Ahead of their conference next month, we're learning more about the work they do right here to help facilitate that growth. Here to tell us more about it is Elaine Lankford from She Steps Forward Ministries. Thanks for being here today, Elaine.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's talk a little bit more, just get this talk about the conference, get that out of the way so we can talk more about the work you guys do. So tell us about the conference coming up.
So we have the She Steps Forward International Women's Conference coming up March 24th to 25th. The conference is there to focus on faith-based female entrepreneurs who are pursuing a business, a ministry, or a nonprofit. And we're there to help show them how those of us who have stepped forward are doing it and the steps that they can take to get their dream off the ground.
What are some of the challenges that women may face when they're trying to, get their footing, trying to build something like that?
Part of the problem with female entrepreneurship, which is skyrocketing these days, is having the confidence to step out and take that chance to live out your dream. But the other problem is that there's also support and financial need that really plays into us really pursuing and sustaining those businesses that we're trying to do.
So for you, what does success look like when you're helping coach these women all over and trying to get them to get their start and get their footing?
So what we like to see is growth and sustainability. So not only getting their dream launched, but our whole goal is to come alongside them, build a community where they feel like they can come back and get overall support that's going to help them month after month and year after year. If we can get more entrepreneurs out there that are sustainable and don't close their doors, we know they're going to change their communities.
How do you help teach them how to make their businesses more sustainable? I mean, especially with all the different things going on in the world, inflation. I mean, 2 years ago, no one could have predicted a pandemic. So
absolutely.
How do you try to help? What are some of those keys and tools that you try to teach women to make sure that their business is sustainable?
What we really try to lean into is leadership-focused development. You really have to know how to lead yourself before you can lead anything else. And so we're really focused on that. And beyond that, we look at the organizational components that need to be there. And so we're willing to pull back the curtain and say, this is the good and the bad and ugly that you may have to go through to get to where you're going. And so by giving those pieces and encouragement, we find that more women are willing to step out and do what God's called them to do.
Yeah, and you do work internationally as well. It's part of an international organization. So tell us more about the work you guys do, not just here, but around the globe.
So we've had the opportunity now to not only work here in the States, specifically in Virginia, but we've had the opportunity now to go to Nairobi, Kenya. And entrepreneurship there is growing just like it's growing here. And they have some of the same needs that we have. They need support, they need strategy, and they need financing. And so that's what we've been able to do, and we're so excited to see it keep growing.
And we're seeing some of those pictures from Kenya on the screen now for anybody watching at home. I mean, what is it like being able to use those messaging and those tools and those skills and bring it and make an impact like halfway around the world?
Oh, it's so important. The women in Africa are so hungry, and it is a matter of life and death for them because some of them need to be able to support themselves and their children. There's a little bit less of an opportunity for their growth than American women, and so for them, it is just dire that we get this message out.
So for you, what do you want for maybe somebody watching at home who doesn't know where to start, doesn't know how to get their footing? What would you recommend to somebody?
I always recommend mentoring and coaching. It is so important to find that person who's been a little bit further than you down the road and really glean their experience from them. That's kind of how I got started. I've been very lucky to have a few people who poured into my life. But without someone talking outside of your head, you really don't get the full picture of where you're going and what you need to do.
All right, well, thank you so much for being here again tonight, Elaine. Thank you. We'll have more information about the conference as well on wavy.com. And stay with us. We'll get one more check of your forecast with meteorologist Steve Fundero. And then Nathan Epstein has the sports wrap.